172nd shift of our Earth's magnetic poles. And we know this because molten lava orients to magnetic north when it cools. So every time it flips and flops, our core samples have shown us that it's happened 171 times. Now, they're claiming that it's been 200,000 years overdue for the next crustal displacement, which a lot of paleogeologists, that's not pronounced correctly, but they believe that it's going to be a crustal displacement. Now, Edgar Cayce, America's sleeping prophet, said that it's going to happen in a matter of seconds, like in the blink of an eye, creating 500-mile-an-hour winds. Well, hold that thought, and now let's look at Revelations chapter 6, verses 12 through 14, where it says that islands will disappear and every mountain moved from its place. That certainly sounds like a crustal displacement to me. And then, Gary, I'm watching on Nova about all these prehistoric baby mammoths who were flash frozen with summer food in their stomachs. And this indicates to me that they were in the middle of this crustal displacement. Now, the idea that aliens don't want us to die because, according to metaphysics and ancient alien theorists, they are responsible for our creation. This flesh-covered skeleton that this ghost is talking to you through was created specifically so that the spirit, which created the flesh, can fulfill its specific karma. Now, that's what it's all about, and our education system is totally missing that. And to prove the point, Gary, I went and saw the famous psychic medium, John Edward, who has literally traveled the world doing what many people think is impossible, channeling the dead. Well, guess what? He channeled my dad, and he was spot on, including the fact that my dad said to John, or through John, that he knows that he is the inspiration behind this book that I am writing. And John was exactly right. And the next year I gave him a copy of my book, which is titled Aliens from Above, The Last in Line. The first half of the book is fiction on a character I created, a Native American Kumeyaw Indian, who gets willingly abducted by aliens and asked him to help design this giant face that is actually in our San Diego mountain on El Capitan. Believe it or not, there's a famous mile-diameter face surrounded by a perfect circle, and behind that mountain is the valley that I captured 10 Kecksburg UFO objects on. So anybody who checks out my Facebook page, you're welcome. It's open to the public. You're going to see this, as well as some other faces that I have found. That one of them is an alien rock face, and it's right next to the spot where I filmed these 10 UFOs. Now, I'm not kidding. 15 feet behind the spot, I filmed what may be the greatest evidence for aliens and UFOs. There is a boulder shaped like an alien's head. Now, people claim that I have carved this and chiseled it away. I would not waste my time with that and ruin what is a very legitimate story here, which, by the way, was captured on CBS Channel 8, my KFNB radio interview or TV interview in 2006. We actually went up to where I had shot these UFO objects, and he filmed me next to the alien boulder. And it's funny because 8 years later, Gary, that very spot, which was highly advertised on KFNB, it won first place at the 4th annual McMinnville UFO Film Festival, because everybody who saw it realized that, hey, this isn't a joke. This is the real McCoy. And that's why I'm claiming that these 7 books of disclosure, this is coming from the people. This is what is going to make the difference. I don't think the government's ever actually going to come out with all they know, Gary, because they'd have to admit that they made an arrangement with aliens back in the 50s, apparently Eisenhower, where aliens were allowed to continue abducting humans to do their peaceful scientific experiments, and in return, we got knowledge from them, which begs the question that those aliens who lost their lives in Roswell in 47 knew that they were about to give away all their technological information at the cost of their lives. So I bet somewhere in time and space, there's a memorial to all these aliens who have done their part to help mankind evolve. And that's why it's really important that we understand that they're our benefactors. They're on our team, and they may be coming back in mass. So please do not point your guns at them. They are emissaries from God. They're the ones that probably gave Moses the 10 Commandments and led the Israelites for 40 years in a cloud and during the day in a pillar. So this is a heavenly event. And you'll recall in 2004, Gary, what happened over the Dome of the Rock. An acorn-shaped object descended slowly and let off a huge, brilliant light and then shot at sonic speed straight up to join a formation of other UFOs. And this was captured on 4 or 5 different videos. So they're here. We need to accept who they are and be ready for it mentally. Continue what you're doing. Pay your bills. But remember, that day is going to come when you're going to see these, and you want to be part of this. You're willing to learn from the ambassadors that they've already trained, Gary. I believe these people who have been abducted and helped create in-betweens have created a race of mentors that are going to help shift gears for mankind as we move into the next phase of our evolution, which is interplanetary contact and trade, which is what the famous UFO abductee from New Jersey, Betty Hill, discovered when she asked him about the star map. And they pointed out that the dotted lines, like the ones to your planet, they're expeditionary routes. But these solid lines to other stars, they're trading routes, which is exactly what metaphysics says. That's what we're heading for, Gary. We're getting rid of the monetary system, and we're trading it in for the barter system because we'll be too busy turning our militaries into away teams to set up trading posts on other inhabited planets. So all this talk about going to Mars and setting that up, well, that's going to be a waste of time because before we know it, we're going to be working with and for aliens as they help integrate man into its next evolutionary phase. And that's going to solve a lot of problems because I don't think anybody's going to stop these kids who have no spiritual base and they're killing innocent people here in America, let alone the strife between tribal feuds in the Mideast. I think there's only one thing that's going to save us, and that could be alien intervention.
Well, I have to say this. I hope you're right because we do need that. But I still kind of lean. We still don't know how many species of aliens are out there. And, you can't, just like people,
right.
You don't know which group of aliens might be friendly or the other ones that might be, well, not so friendly towards man. And I think that's what is going on.
That's a good point.
I think we've been visited so many different times on this planet through the last several thousand years, if not more. And we're being visited by, 2 groups of, or not 2, but 2 types of aliens. Because I go into like the cattle mutilations, the human mutilations. I have pictures here on my computer that ex-government worker sent me, taken in Brazil, and also taken in the rainforest in the Amazon of abductions of men and women, and then they found their bodies the same thing as what the cows have gone through. Where their sex glands are removed, their heart was removed.
They are less kind to humans than the ones who actually are represented in that famous 1200 woodcut that was recently featured on Ancient Aliens that shows a battle amongst spaceships in the sky. And that's the reason, Gary, why we are not slaves at this moment, because the good guys are in charge. And that's why they're telling our astronauts and cosmonauts, hey, you guys aren't prepared for this. And because it's really important to know, once again, metaphysics tells us that our thoughts have substance. Our thoughts are so important that when you're out of your body, say, in an astral plane, your thoughts take you to where you're thinking. So you better have good thoughts. Now, it's very well known that Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had a UFO encounter on the moon. Well, guess what? On my Facebook page in my 7 books of disclosure is the actual transcripts that Buzz Aldrin and Neil, sure enough, they had an alien contact. These UFOs were lined up on the opposite side of a crater, and Cape Canaveral cut it off for 2 minutes. So they are here.
They kept telling Buzz to switch over to the medical channel because they knew, they were being listened to. Amateur radio operators were listening to what was going on, and they said, it was basically a secure channel. And, Buzz kept saying, well, this is nothing from Earth. This is the way bigger technology. He just rambled on for, before he complied. And, it's funny, his later years, he's been really open about weird things about the moon. And
he has. That's right. And I appreciate that.
Well, you know what?
Mr. Aldrin.
You know what? I do appreciate it, but a lot of, let's face it, when you get at a certain age, you're not, when somebody threatens something could happen to you, right? You're not going to look at it. You're going to look at it.
And writing on you keeping quiet. You're going to keep quiet. I can understand.
Yeah, if you're like 30 or 40 years old and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, if you keep opening your mouth, something happen to you or your family or your kids. And then you're gonna comply because you love your family. When you get at that age, you can say, hey, I'm going to tell the truth. It doesn't matter to me if they kill me at my age. Hey, I had a good life. I had a lot of girlfriends.
Barry? That's exactly what that nurse said, who was on her deathbed and said, the government can't do anything. I'm dying. So she told exactly what she saw about the alien bodies that were brought in to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base after the Roswell crash. And that was noble of it. And there have been some other eyewitnesses, and some of the other ones are dying out who witnessed this event, which apparently, according to Colonel Corsair, gave us a lot of technical information, like night vision and circuitry and
fiber optics, lasers, yeah.
Fiber optics, thank you. So it's like the aliens wanted us to progress because guess what? They do have that law by the universe about not interfering too much with the society. They need to evolve spiritually on their own because everything we do, think, and say is being recorded in this cosmic library known as the Akashic Records. And for anybody who is not familiar with that, you should be. It's spelled Akashic. Now, there's millions of pages dedicated to this cosmic library, and apparently when people die, guess what? You're going to have a spirit guide next to you saying something like, what have you done with your life that you can show me? And boom, they plug into your file, and everything you think, did, and said is recorded. And from that, a judgment you will make on your own life and what you didn't do or did do. So, and I would say this to everybody who is alive, regardless of what you have done in the past, it is your future that is deciding on what you will become or will do. It's called the probable future. And we can remake our lives. Look what I've done with my evidence. I started out believing that, this Akashic record crap really exists. So I started practicing right thinking. And guess what? The universe straightens your path. It's amazing. And that's how I was able to be ready for this UFO photo. And I don't think it was an accident. I think these aliens knew that I would disregard this photo as a negative glitch or flying ducks like some of my friends, and I would take it to the next event. And thank gosh I did. Here is a pattern that has uncovered incredible mysteries. Right next to Stonehenge is a giant acorn-shaped mound. How come nobody knew that is the signature of aliens who probably created Stonehenge because it's got magnetic forces underneath it, and it helps stabilize the Earth's precessional wobble, whose 26,000-year cycle is up on December 21st, 2012. That's when the Mayans thought it was the end of the world, but they didn't take into account all the work that aliens have been doing on our behalf, including the pyramids at Giza that are located exactly around the belly of the landmass of the Earth, and they have helped stabilize the precessional wobble